tell a story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon for the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you, for when they hear you, I'll be near you again.
Thank you. Good morning. Hi. My name is Adam Panko. I'm the new artistic director here at the Fargo Community Theater. Real quickly here, I wanted to tell you a quick story about Eric, who just went off stage. Eric came in the other night to audition for our upcoming fundraising performance of Cocktails and Cabaret, October 20th and 21st. He moved himself and his family up here from Memphis, Tennessee on a bit of a whim. He is employed by Midco, and he was saying that everything is going great. Family is wonderful, his job is wonderful, but what he was missing was a connection to our community. And he was really thankful that an organization like FMCT and the other arts organizations in our town exist, so we can try to find that opportunity to connect with the city that he has great first impressions about. And I thought that you guys would enjoy hearing that story. Would you help me welcome Eric Abraham to our community?
What a melodious way to start our day. Bonjour, bonjour Fargo. Bonjour Bismarck, bonjour Grand Forks. What a North Dakota amazing day to be today. Oh my God. Can you give yourself a round of applause? So, bonjour, my name is Alexandre Cusa. I'm your Rwandan citizen, Fargo Moorhead Hearted MC. It's a great honor to be with you today. Who is new in the room? In the room. Who's new? Put your hands high, yay. Who is new in Bismarck? I can see you. Who is new in Grand Forks? Thank you so much. Who are our regulars? People that keep coming and recruiting more people. Our ambassadors. Yes, give yourself a round of applause, please. In Bismarck as well, virtually, yes, yes. So today, for the new people, today is a special day. 1 Million Cups is our weekly gathering where we get to visit, connect, interact, and consult with national, regional, and local amazing entrepreneurs. It's interesting because in French we say that the path of great people always cross. And what an honor to have 1 Million Cups, to have two great people cross their path today here. It's interesting, so me being from Rwanda, when I came here, they told me that the Red River Valley had one of the most fertile soil. And now when I think of the ecosystem of the Silicon Prairie and the giants, the pioneers, the people that had to trailblaze before us so we could benefit of an amazing ecosystem right now, it's always, I think, it makes me be very humbled, and I'm very grateful that we're standing on the giants, on the shoulders of giants, and I'm really honored that today we're going to get to experience this. So I want to, again, thank you in Bismarck, thank you in Grand Forks, thank you here in Fargo for keep coming and believing in this ecosystem that the Silicon Prairie is. I'm going to give it, without further ado, to my friend Greg Tevin. And I want to also publicly thank Greg Tevin for trusting my exotic accent and I with this microphone. Merci beaucoup, Greg.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our friends in Grand Forks and Bismarck and those online. We are streaming on inforum.com around the world, and I know my mom is probably at home watching, or I hope if she turned on AOL. So here's what's going to happen is today we're going a little off script. We are going to have an opportunity to do some announcements to get you all involved in our community as we support entrepreneurs, innovators, and risk takers. And then we are going to have two presenters, and today is Living Legends Day. So whenever you got to try to get stuff from your parents, it can be difficult. So luckily, when we asked Ron Offit if he would speak, he's like, only if Bill Marseille Sr. does. And so we told Bill Marseille Sr. the same thing, and the kids got involved. And so we are glad you're here today. It's going to be a different 1 Million Cups format, where we're just going to interview them. And because we got questions for them, and as a community, we get to ask them questions because we're worried about RDO. Like, what if it doesn't get bigger? And so we just, as a community, we just want to volunteer for the next hour and help these guys out. So all of us are here to help you. Let's give them a round of applause. During TEDx Fargo, the CEO of the Kauffman Foundation, the organization that powers 1 Million Cups in 110 communities, over a few cocktails got into disagreement with me, where I shared with her, we have the largest 1 Million Cups in the nation. And she said, no, you don't. And it got a little personal. And so we are in the middle of a challenge. And so the mayor of Kansas City is on our case. And so we just want to bring in Mayor Sly Williams of Kansas City to the stage to share a few comments.
What does Fargo have in Kansas City? Absolutely nothing. We need to enlighten the entrepreneurial community in the country. We need you to come to 1 Million Cups every single week and bring a friend. As a matter of fact, bring two. We need to show Fargo that this is the home of 1 Million Cups. This is where it started. This is where it's best. And this is how we do Kansas City.
So we are in week 3 of that challenge. We just want to do a quick update. We are down 2 right now in September 6th, September 13th. Just want to go a little population. Fargo's population is 120,000. Kansas City's 481,000. And let's just be real kicking their ass. Thank you, Fargo. We do this every week. We have an opportunity to get announcements for you to get plugged in. And the first thing we want to do is welcome some out-of-town guests. And so we found our friend Catherine, who won the challenge for being the furthest away to fly in to be in 1 Million Cups Fargo today. Welcome, Catherine, from Anchorage, Alaska. Welcome, Catherine.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. I wanted to introduce a group of us. We are part of the Startup Champions Network. We're a group of national passionate people supporting entrepreneurs and innovation ecosystems in our cities. I'm from Anchorage. We've got 50 people from around the country here in Fargo for the next 3 days. Thank you for welcoming us. We had a wonderful welcome party at the Troll Bar last night. It was a great introduction to Fargo. And, we chose Fargo on purpose. We're super excited to be here and learn from Greg and his team at Emerging Prairie. And we're so happy to be here and see what great things Fargo's doing. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Catherine. Next up, an opportunity is Tech Tailgate. Let's bring Emma to the stage. Let's welcome Emma.
Hey everyone, I'm Emma Tupa, and I'm here to talk to you about Tech Tailgate. So for those of you that don't know, Tech Tailgate is hosted by Girl Develop at Fargo and is the only event that brings together all the local technology meetups in the Fargo-Moorhead area. So the purpose of the event is to give community members the chance to learn about all the opportunities there are to grow your tech skills, to learn about what the tech meetups are up to, and of course, network with local technology professionals. So join us for the third annual, it's our third one, we're really excited, on Thursday, September 28th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Drecker Brewing Company in downtown Fargo. It's going to be a night of craft brews, nerdy tech talk, pizza from Blackbird Woodfire, and of course, we're going to learn about all the awesome technology meetups. So for more information, head to techtailgate.com, and we hope to see you there.
Hey, thank you, Emma. Up next, we have my friend that I met through the Big Brothers program. I've been mentoring him for years. He is the one that signed off on 1 million cups. So without any support, any authority, signed off on 1 million cups. Fargo helped us out for 3 weeks and then got out of the way and made the rest of us do the work. Join me in welcoming Jake. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, guys. So Greg's going to stay here and help me with this because there's changing details. But what we have to announce today is that Fargo and Emerging Prairie is going to be putting on an Emerging Technology and Agriculture Conference, an Ag Tech Conference here in Fargo. And it's sometime between November and December. Dates are changing, but the event's called Cultivate. And we're going to be here to celebrate what makes the Midwest and Fargo and the technology that's being developed here around agriculture great. And so that's what the conference is going to be about. I believe everybody's invited, but we're trying to figure out all the rest of the details. But just look for more details on Cultivate, celebrating technology and agriculture.
Thank you, Jake. We appreciate it. All right, I want to introduce one of my heroes, Janelle. She's one of the team that makes 1 million cups Bismarck happen. She's on the team at Bismarck Mandan. She's on the team at Co-Schedule. She drove in to be here. Let's welcome Janelle for her announcement.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here. I'm here to announce a Bismarck conference, Disrupt Well. We're a scary, smart group of individuals in Fargo who are raising the question, how do innovative technologies, disruptive innovations, how are they changing our world? We've got a conference on Tuesday, October 31st. We'll be in Bismarck. Ticket sales are online. I'd encourage you guys to all get plugged in. Go to disruptwell.com, and let's help answer these questions.
All right. Hey, thank you, Janelle. Up next, we have Jim Garton. Jim's the executive director of the Greater Fargo Moorhead EDC, and there's a group of folks from all across the state, and just heads up, Chuck Hoagie missed this one, he's got an opportunity for those of us that are professional ecosystem builders to get involved. So welcome, Jim.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all being here. What a great day. Also, this coming Friday on September 22nd, there is an Entrepreneurial Eco Summit process, an event going on, half-day event, that's being sponsored by Emerging Prairie, the Kauffman Foundation, and also the North Dakota Department of Commerce. And it's basically for people in my world, economic development, community development, and also, as they say, any kind of ecosystem builders. Again, please go online. There's some information, and I think it's on Emerging Prairie's website. So a great event on Friday, and I think it's a great opportunity to really go in and help support the community.
All right, thank you, Jim, and thanks for your support of 1 million cups. Next up, I believe we have Lindsay. Lindsay's on the Emerging Prairie team, and she's back. Let's welcome Lindsay. Welcome, Lindsay. And Lindsay, going off script, which you're going to give me those eyes of frustration again. You recently moved to Cleveland. You're working for Emerging Prairie remotely, and you said something interesting when you got back to town, and I would just love for you to say this very publicly.
Okay, so I've been caught. Apparently, Greg wants me to tell you guys that since moving back to Cleveland, I realized that I made a mistake, and I want to come back to Fargo. I really love Fargo more than my hometown. So what I'm actually supposed to tell you is I've got two cool things that I flew back all the way from Ohio to let you know about. One is this Thursday we're doing Drone Focus Monthly at the Prairie Den, which you guys should know by now that I'm the drone expert. So Thursday at the Prairie Den, join me for a presentation on drones and UAS. And then also, Greg is going to be mad at me for going off script, but I have an awesome gift for people. So look at the bottom of your cups if you got one from Midco. If you have a dot on the bottom of your cup, a sticker, I have some Bison tickets for you. So come see me at the end.
All right, if you're going to the Bison game, track down Lindsay. Okay, so we're going College Day. We got an announcement from North Dakota State University. Let's welcome Scott. Scott is the dean of the business school at North Dakota State University, youngest dean in the country, not only by looks, but also by ID. So let's welcome Scott.
Thank you. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks, Greg. So huge shout out to George Mason, 2006 Final Four, and 2 Nobel Prize winners that I got to work with. Yeah, we're having 1 million cups at Berry Hall on October 11th. College Day is the theme, so wear the colors of your alma mater. If you don't have one, wear Bison colors. That'd be great. We'll have Bison cookies there, a great program, and we're really glad to be hosting 1 million cups on that day. Sons of Norway are teed up, so there should be plenty of parking. So get there early, and we look forward to seeing you.
One quick question. Yep. Will the troll bar be open beforehand?
We'll do what we can.
All right, thank you, Scott. We appreciate it. All right, we're getting towards the end. Is Betty here? Okay, we'll skip that, and then we're going to go to Hack. Oh, Betty is here. All right, so Betty heads up on this step. Let's welcome our friend Betty to the stage. Oh. All right, let's. Oh, you're good. Welcome, Betty.
I'm Betty Groneberg, founder and director of You Code Girl. I am here to invite you to the Founders event that's being hosted by Emerging Prairie tomorrow in the spirit of cultivating entrepreneurial ecosystem at the Prairie Den from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We are inviting founders of organizations and companies, people who have started a project and working on it full time. Sorry. Come and let's mingle and keep building the ecosystem.
All right, thanks, Betty. Let's send you off this way. Those are nice shoes. Okay, last announcement. We've made it. Let's welcome Blaine to the stage. Blaine, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. He discovered the great state of North Dakota and has the best beard in town. Let's welcome Blaine. Welcome, Blaine.
Hey everybody, so October 14th and 15th we have an annual hackathon, which is here in town at the Prairie Den. It'll be fun. Our focus this year is public safety, so that includes anything from first responders, emergency services, data. We're working with the fire department also to get some of their run data, just kind of building applications. That'll be Saturday morning kickoff and Sunday afternoon presentations. Check out Emerging Prairie for any more information. So that's October 14th and 15th. It's free to attend. It's a programming event, but it's kind of a competition. There'll be some prizes for winners. Oh, and the big announcement, of course, tonight, Agassiz Athletics, the Adult Kickball League, is having their championships. 6 o'clock at Friendship Park, north of downtown. Everyone's invited. Should be a fun time. Thanks.
Friendship Park, 6 o'clock. Be there. All right. So our organization, our community believes that entrepreneurs drive our economy, and we believe the support of entrepreneurs is absolutely critical. We also believe in the arts, and arts drive our culture. One of the things we love to do at 1 Million Cups, and this is very special to have her here today, we have a random act of art, and we have today Izzy, who's originally from the area, just finished up her degree at Berkeley, one of the top musical arts programs in the East Coast in the country, and she's moving to LA tonight. And so this is her final appearance on her quick stop in Fargo. Let's join me in welcoming one of my heroes, Izzy Marcio. Welcome, Izzy!
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me this morning. Again, I'm Izzy Marcio, and I know what you're all thinking. Yes, I am related to the other Marcios in the room. And no, we did not know that we would be at the same event today. We were sitting down at dinner last week, and my grandfather and my dad were talking about how they were speaking at this event Wednesday morning. And I was like, no way, I'm singing at an event Wednesday morning. And then we connected that it was the same event. So I'm happy to be here. It'll be a family time. So yeah, this song that I'm going to sing is a cover. So if you know it, please sing along. Are you getting me? My guitar? I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Superman's control, and Batman with his fists. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. He says, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 And I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, the testaments they told, the moon and its eclipse, and Superman unrolls the super for he lives. But I'm not the kind of person that it fits. He says, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 And I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 Just ask me where you wanna go, how much you wanna risk. I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 I want something just like this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 Thank you.
I feel so inadequate right now. You were incredible. Thank you, Izzy. So up next, we're going something brand new. It's Living Legends Day. We're going to ask two friends that are perfect to interview their dads. They are the people that we hand-selected because we felt they could ask the most uncomfortable questions possible. I want to introduce to the stage two really good friends. First up, Billy Marcille Jr. He's the publisher, CEO of Forum Communications. He's a champion for the arts. He's a champion for entrepreneurs. He's a recent tech investor. Let's give Billy a big welcome. And up next, she's the CEO of RDO. She's somebody that cares deeply about this place. She's a driver of innovation. She's growing a huge company. Let's give it up for Christy Offit. Welcome, Christy. All right, you two, the stage is yours. We've never done it like this, so this is awesome. Let's welcome Billy and Christy. Thank you.
No, not at all. Now you can. Thanks for coming. Hi, Christy. You know, Christy and I aren't here all the time. You probably, you regulars, you haven't seen us a lot. Interestingly enough, we have a similar family event that is on at about the same time. It's a different name. You guys have the Million Cups. It's huge. It's all over the countries. Ours is smaller. It's called 3 Martinis. It's different. Smaller. Sorry.
That was just last night.
Let me introduce my father. Proud to introduce my father. 1936 in Rolette, North Dakota. Ida and Max Marcial had a little baby boy. William Christ, C-H-R-I-S-T. Tell me later why it's spelled like that. I'll tell you. Marcial grew up in Rolette, North Dakota. Moved to Garrison, North Dakota. And I think he calls his hometown Sherwood, North Dakota, which is upper western part of North Dakota, west actually of Minot, out there in the middle of somewhat nowhere. He went to the University of North Dakota, graduated, moved to Minneapolis, and met the love of his life. Mom, are you out there at the internet? He met my mom, Jane Black. They moved back to Fargo, and in 1969, he found himself at, I think, 33, Dad? 33 years old, president of Forum Communications. And at that time, it was one newspaper, one television station, and one radio station. Today, it's 85 titles, 4 television stations, and we still have 1 radio station. And commercial printing. We've got 45 plus websites, 35 million page views, lots of newspapers, lots of subscribers. So a true entrepreneurial success story. Proud to introduce my father, William Marcial.
My turn?
Your turn.
Oh boy, should never follow a leader in communications and media, person that sells tractors. But so knowing that the Million Cups is about educating and connecting entrepreneurs, I admittedly, people use the word entrepreneur kind of fast and loose, and so I woke up this morning and Googled it. And to make sure and find the most common definition of an entrepreneur. So what I found was a person who organizes and operates a business taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. So of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I think of my father, Ron Offit, as the quintessential entrepreneur. So rather than give a lot of details about how he grew up, I wanted to give some examples of what he's done as a quintessential entrepreneur over the last 50 plus years. But he was born in Orick, Missouri in 1942. His parents moved to this community when he was 2, and he's been a part of this Fargo-Moorhead community ever since. So a few examples of Ron and his entrepreneurship. Ron took a bank loan out at the age of 25 in 1968 to buy his first John Deere store. Today, we're the largest Deere dealer in the world, and we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year in 2018. Ron partnered, well, you don't have to cough. Ron, very early on, partnered with his father, who was, I think, a 5th-generation potato farmer, small potato farmer, and today has grown up to be the largest potato farmer in the country, and along with that, built a French fry plant about 90 miles east of here in Park Rapids in 1982. Ron bought a farm in Oregon in 1999 and has built it today to be one of the largest organic farm and dairies in the country. Ron decided a number of years back to consolidate the dehydrated potato industry at a time when most investors were running away from the industry, and in doing so, we own the Idahoan retail brand that you can find in 95+% of grocery stores today. So those are just a few examples that I picked out of Ron as an entrepreneur. There's certainly, as any good entrepreneur story, there's also been a few flops or failures along the way. Maybe he'll talk a little bit about those. There's an ice cream factory story in China. There's the Rockefeller Ranch in Texas. There's a tree nursery. There's a French fry plant in Atlanta, Georgia. And Al Noel, who was in the office early this morning, giving me some history, said that Georgia happens to be the only state that does not grow potatoes in the country. So that was didn't turn out to be the greatest investment either. So I am one of 5,000 plus RDO team members that's so proud to work under Ron Offit's initials, RDO. Ron Offit.
A lot of achievements of these two guys. And I just want to make this not so much about their achievements, what they've done, but how they got there. So Christy and I are going to ask each one a couple of questions and then open it up to the audience to let everybody else participate. So Dad, you're up first. What factor do you see the largest factor to your success? What would that be?
Your mother.
Okay, Ron.
That's good, Bill. Well, I married up, like they say. A lot of factors, I think, but seriously, you know, we had a real solid company, people that were easy to work with, and they were a huge factor to our success. I like to say our success. But actually, I had such strong support from Jane. I mean, you know, we grew this company, but I couldn't have done it without her. This was truly a family affair, you know, 5 generations now, but she was the 3rd generation. So your mom was really a big part of our team.
Ron, how about you? What was the largest factor to your success?
You know, first off, when I look at some of the failures, I was a little short on research on that Atlanta, Georgia deal, but seriously, partnerships. You know, I started my career after I got out of college. I was a partner with my father. When I went into the John Deere business, I had a partner, but I didn't know anything about it. Same way with the French fry business. You take the partnerships out of the Offit companies. Even today, it would be a lot smaller company. And today, I've got the best partnership working with the kids. I'm lucky. I've got Christy involved in the business. My middle daughter, Rondi, her husband is president of the Farm and Food Division. My older daughter's husband, Scott, takes care of the real estate end. And my son, Ryan, looks out after our interest in Russia, Ukraine, and Australia, and Zambia, Africa.
Great.
Either one of you can go first. What was the largest hurdle you had to overcome when you started your career?
For me?
Well, mine was overcoming, I guess, the fact that I was a son-in-law coming to work for a family company, and that put a lot of pressure on me because I wanted to succeed. I didn't want to fail. Maybe that's a little different than nepotism when you're part of the family. I don't know, but being not involved in the family, I had to try harder, and that was the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome. And I worked hard at it, and I did it. I overcame the hurdle.
Figured out now why Keith always wants to talk to you and not me sometimes. You know, my biggest problem was I always had greater ideas than I had the ability to get money around to accomplish it. And I wasn't very good at bookkeeping or developing business plans, even though I could conceptualize it. I had a difficult time putting it to paper. And until I brought the right people into our organization, in this case it was Al Knoll, which he carried the confidence with the lending institutions that allowed me to grow. So.
Any advice on that piece? I bet there's a lot of people in the audience that are probably find themselves right today in a similar situation. Any advice for that young entrepreneur that is looking, he's got lots of ideas and he doesn't have the capital or the finances or the partnerships?
Unquestionably, when we started, or when I started the company, one of the first partners was I put in the sweat equity and they'd put in the capital. It's a good way to get started, but I can tell you from experience that those partnerships generally don't last too long. But they serve a time and a purpose at the time that you started. But while you're putting a partnership together, also spend as much energy as saying, hey, if this doesn't work, how are we going to unwind this thing? So that everybody knows the size of the stage.
Dad, what qualities do you look for in young entrepreneurs that might come to your office, and what are those qualities that you would say, hey, I'm gonna put either money or resources, capital into you?
Well, I like experience. I think is extremely important, even if you're into a startup. You know, what type of experience have you had dealing with people? References, I think your background is important. What's your, how did you grow up? Your education, to me, is not as important, I think, as a feel. They say MBAs from Harvard are fine, but, I'd rather have a C student from Concordia working for me because the C students hire the A students. So the education's not... Now, I can attest to that. I'm not sure about Ron.
I was the C student.
So experience and references, and you have to also have a gut feeling, if somebody has a really good idea, and there's so many of them out there now, will this really work? Laying off some of the information or on other people to get their opinions as well.
Ron, what about you? What qualities do you look for?
Well, number one, I endorse everything that Bill says. But number two, I want to understand the industry and what they see, what they're pushing. That, along with the burn in their belly, to be successful, because not every day is a sunny day. So.
I love this question. I can't take credit for it, but today, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Any advice for that young man? Bill? Dad?
Well, two things. Second guessing is 20/20 vision, but a couple of things. I think if I think back as a 20-year-old, maybe I would have stopped to smell the roses a bit as I was going through this growing stage, Ron, where we worked hard. We probably didn't spend as much time with, in my case, with my family as I should have. So if I were to start over, I think I would stop to smell the roses as I was going through that. I mean, my standard of living, the quality of life has been super, but I don't think that I've enjoyed it as much as I probably could have.
You always have good answers to good questions. I would say that And my advice to a 20-year-old is, you got to follow your passion. You know, I could think of nothing more miserable in my entire life than to have to go to work every day and not enjoy it. So if you love it, do it, or do something along those lines. So.
Great. Excellent answers. I just saved 15 more years of therapy. Thanks, Dad. Love you. You guys were all here to witness that. Little coming together, just he and I. I like that. We're not going to hug. Don't worry. So one last question, then we'll let you guys ask some questions. Assuming that Christy and I take these companies to levels that none of us can imagine, assuming that's true, and we pass it on to the next generation. So your great-grandchildren are sitting on this stage, whatever it is, 40, 50 years from now. What are your great-grandchildren saying about the legacy the two of you laid down? Your great-grandchildren.
You're first, Ron.
Kind of depends what you two tell them about us.
That's exactly right. That's not our responsibility.
Really? Do we let him get away with that? Dad, you want to answer that question? All right.
We know when to button our lip, huh?
Mr. Tavine, do we have a tweet?
Christy?
Thank you.
Okay, besides your humor. It's having in place the right person, or the right team of people for the continuum of your business that along the lines that you ascribe to and what you believe in and what you want your company to stand for and the legacy to represent you.
Yeah, exactly right, Ron. The other thing, it seems to me that, of course, you can't predict this, but the heirs to the company, at least as long as I'm here, and I'm sure Ron feels the same way. They have to have passion for the business. They want to be involved in the business, and from owners, in a sense, it's really feels good to have kids like, not kids, Christy and Bill, and Ron's got some other children. Kids. Stand corrected. Who really are involved and want the business to grow, and they'll make it happen. And I think that's extremely important.
I think it takes the energy of youth tied with the wisdom of some age to make a great team.
I like to think of myself as Bill's security blanket at this point, because he's running the company day to day, but I'm around, and if I don't bug him, at least he might disagree with that, but try not to. But I'm there, and as you say, institutional knowledge is pretty important. But at the same time, it's time for the new generation to move forward and do what Bill said a few minutes ago. Take these two companies to new heights.
Do you ever give unsolicited advice?
occasionally, but it doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot.
I've noticed the same thing.
All right, we've got some questions from the audience.
So the first question, please state your college and then your question.
My name's Marisa, and I went to Concordia, so go Cobbers. Thanks for the shout out. And my question is, being in Fargo, North Dakota, has its unique pros and cons, and how has that impacted both of you in the growth of your business to be in Fargo?
Well, in my case, this is a family, I didn't have any choice, you know. Not that I would have made a different decision. I mean, I love Fargo. This has really been a good area for our company and for our family. So I love it here. I wouldn't change a thing. Now, we've expanded outside of the Fargo-Moorhead area, but in our case, we stick to our knitting, as I call it. We have in the past. We know the people in the Midwest primarily, and that's been good for us. So even though it's not Fargo, it's still Midwest, and that's the primary growth of our company.
I really think having your taproot like in a city like Fargo, you're not as isolated as you are if you're in a major metropolitan area. I think you've got a different person that chooses to live in Fargo. They're here by choice. You know, we've got I think 78 different John Deere stores in the U.S., all the way from large cities to very small cities, and our turnover of people in smaller rural areas is a lot lower than it is in a metro area. So you got a different class of a person that, quite frankly, are better employees.
My name's Michael Olson. I graduated from NDSU in 1902, I think it was. My father was employed by Forum Communications, so I got fed for a long time, so thank you very much for that. It's a two-part question for Bill. First of all, how long did it take you to feel comfortable in your own shoes, having married into the situation? And then when you reach that point, what do you attribute your success to getting to that point? Because so often those situations fail.
It seems to me that I felt in my own shoes, or some people say, when did you feel you had it made? And we went through a consolidation of the ownership in 1984, and up to that point we had 32 relatives working, not all of them working in the company, but 32 relatives who were shareholders of the company. And I was always under the gun because a lot of these kids worked at the company, and you know, it was a difficult situation. So we went through a consolidation of ownership. And after that, I felt really comfortable because we'd consolidated into two families and then into one. And the other question, Mike, was? Yeah. Well, you know, I had Jane's an unusual woman, and we just clicked it off, and she was sympathetic to the issues that I had to deal with, and I just took them one at a time. But when we got rid of all the other relatives, it was a whole hell of a lot easier.
I'm
by the way, Alf Olson was one of the best farm reporters we ever had, his father.
Doug Hamilton, Moorhead State, Dragon, proud to be. I graduated a year after Michael, so you can do the math. I have a question for the two of you because you've seen these industries you're in evolve over a long period of time. Now that you're standing where you are or sitting where you are, when you look to the future, what do you see as the greatest challenges ahead for your industries?
I think our greatest, in our business, our greatest challenge is to, how to keep our information relative to our society. And, the business is changing tremendously. It's moving to the internet. And we have, that's our challenge, to keep our reliable information relative so that you all and others will rely on information from reliable sources, which the newspaper industry has an infrastructure to do that. Let me ask you all a question. How many people here in this audience buy and read, well, just let me ask you, read a print newspaper each day? How many of you read it on any newspaper online? Well, that's great. So Bill doesn't care if you read our information online or in print, but somehow we got to be paid for it. We've got to monetize that information that you're getting free online now. So that's our biggest challenge.
Hi, my name is Abdallah. I'm a Concordia graduate right here. Sorry. So what is the biggest thing that you look for in an entrepreneur? Sorry, in a business partner?
Does that partner or the person that you're considering being a partner with have strengths where you have your own known weaknesses? So I think in order to be able to judge whether or not the person is going to make a great partner, you got to be assess your own strengths and weaknesses. I'll give you the classic example. In Russia, we have a Russian partner. In the Ukraine, we have a Ukrainian partner. I can tell you, and we've been in Russia now for like 14 years, I think. If we didn't have a Russian partner in Russia, they'd have had our pants off a long time ago. So the partnership's been great. So it's filling the void that you don't have within your organization or within your own personality.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump up as we wrap up. Every week at 1 Million Cups, here and in 110 communities around the country, we ask entrepreneurs the same final question. And that question is, what can all of us do to support you in your work? There's 377 of us here in Fargo. There's 50 plus in Bismarck. There's probably 50 folks in Grand Forks. And it's on inform.com, so at least 12 billion other people are watching.
At least.
But what can we as a community do to support your work, to uphold your values, your legacy? What can we do to cheer you on?
Well, in my opinion, I don't think that our values are a whole lot different than the other successful entrepreneurs. I would challenge this group to do what you're doing and go further, to develop businesses, take some risk, and grow your own businesses, merge with others to keep growing and get bigger. You have to, in order to have a successful organization, you have to grow. Because that keeps your people happy, and that just makes the world go round. So that's what I'd say.
Ron?
Well, the easy, obvious answer is eat potatoes, drink milk, and mow your grass.
And anything else, or is that it? Is that it?
Well, that's a good place to start.
Hey, as we wrap up today, we've got 2 members of the North Dakota Rough Rider Hall of Fame, and we know they're supported by their family. So we've got their children up here as the MCs, but there's other family members here. If you're a family member related to these guys or in the will, or not in the will, we don't. But could we have the family members stand real quick? And then it. And if you, in the course of your history, have ever been employed by either of these guys, could you stand? And can all of us stand for 2 living legends that have made this the greatest place in the world? Thank you, guys. All right, guys, as we wrap, we're just got one quick thing. I want to invite Andy Stoll from the Kauffman Foundation up on stage. 1 Million Cups happens in 110 communities. The folks in Kansas City, they had 180 people here today, or in Kansas City, we had 377, so obviously we won. Andy, you support entrepreneurs for a living. You've been a community builder. You're a champion. You're actually the person that came to Fargo and encouraged us to do this. Why does this matter? And send us off on a great week.
Thanks, Greg. Let's go for Greg for hosting the team at Emerging Prairie. My name is Andy Stoll from the Kauffman Foundation. At the Kauffman Foundation, we believe in empowering the makers, the doers, and the dreamers, and that's all of you in the room. But we can't do it just from Kansas City, so we need everyone to take part. And Fargo and North Dakota, you guys are all leading the way. We believe deeply at the Kauffman Foundation that entrepreneurship is a community sport, that to succeed and thrive like our living legends up here today, you need to be surrounded by networks and connections and people who believe in you, who ask, how can we help? And you guys are really setting the bar for the nation here in North Dakota on how we can do that to really empower the makers, the doers, and the dreamers. So thank you all for your contributions to this community. It's about my 4th or 5th time here. I'm always impressed and always go home telling folks about it.
Sorry. Still single, Andy? Okay, so we're going to wrap things up. So here's what you need to know. We're grateful for our sponsors. Those are our sponsors. If you know anyone that works there, please say thank you. We're thankful for our volunteers, folks like Roger and the Emerging Prairie team that make this possible. Next week, we have a fantastic speaker. It's an up-and-comer, so we'll probably get 700 people here, which will be great. This is Bradley. He's a deep scientific guy out of NDSU. He's doing stuff with coatings. We want you here. We want to say thank you to the folks in Grand Forks. Thank you to the folks in Bismarck. Thanks for folks all around the country that are tuning in today. There is no greater joy than supporting risk takers, entrepreneurs, and creatives. Join us in making a huge impact. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.